Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome along to the wilds of Suffolk. I'm out here yet again, going for a walk in the woods. And if this is your first time here, this is what it's all about. I walk along in beautiful locations such as this, out in the woods in Suffolk in the UK. And I try to speak about my thoughts and opinions on things that are in the public consciousness at the moment. If you are a returning subscriber, or 582 of you I believe it is now, thank you very much for being here. Nice little curtsy for you to welcome you back. And thank you one and all for being here. It's a humbling experience to be able to speak to so many people that join me for these walks. So thank you one and all. Now, before we get started, I'll take a moment to do a quick apology because it's been so long since I've done my last video. Now, I've said before that I'm a husband and father first. I am a chef for my job second. And I'm a content creator third. So, you know, that prioritizes where things need to be. So obviously my wife and my children come first, and my job. And I do this for fun. I enjoy sharing information. I enjoy doing these videos. But it means that obviously things have to take priority over the videos, which is work and my home with my children, my wife. So quick apology just to say sorry that I don't produce as much content as I'd like, but it is what it is, so please bear with me, and I will, as time gets freed up, I will spend more time making videos, but at the moment, it's not possible. So, thank you for joining me, and bear with me. I will be putting out more content, but as I can. Now, in my last video, I spoke about that I would be doing a video about a very sensitive subject, something that's very difficult to talk about, and that video is today. And today's video is about death. Now, over the last year and a half, we have been confronted with death. It's been thrust in our face every single day, every waking moment. Now, in the Western world, we are not used to being confronted with death. I mean, we don't usually have anything to do with it. I mean, our culture and our traditions, we're so separated from death that, when we are confronted with something like has happened in the last year and a half, it tends to really get in people's psyche. Now, I'm going to sort of try and break this down as much as I can. Lots of different aspects to this, of course. But I'll try and break it down as much as I can and see where we come out the other side, like always. So, like I say, in Western culture, we're not usually, we're not surrounded by death at all. We don't see dead people generally. In the third world or developing nations, to use the right nomenclature. There's death is... it's much more common to be in contact with people who are dying or who have died. The funeral pyres and what have you. Here it's very sanitary, very, you take your loved ones are generally in a hospice or, in a hospital when they pass. Whereas in developing nations or in third world nations, the people usually pass at home. Here in the Western world, we're separated from death. Places like Mexico, a lot of different cultures celebrate death or celebrate the life of the person who's passed. And I know in Mexico they have the Day of the Dead, which is where they celebrate the person's life who's passed over. But we generally in the Western culture, we don't have that. So when we start talking about death, it scares the shit out of people. Now. Now, I know that there are some traditions as well that I know in Masonry there's it's said that you should contemplate death periodically because death gives life meaning. Now, what do I mean by that? If you were to live forever, what would your life mean? I mean, death gives your life meaning. Now, it's very, very difficult for the people that are left behind when someone passes. Now, I know one of the many reasons this is going to be a difficult subject is I know 3 people that are subscribers to this channel that are dealing with that as we speak, and it's a very, very difficult conversation to have because what do you say to somebody whose relatives or a loved one has just passed? I mean, really, what can you say? There's nothing you can say. You can't console people because it's a very tragic time. We, the ones who are left behind, are going to miss the people that have passed. Of course, we miss the conversations, we miss the time that we get to spend with them, we miss those memories that we create with them. Now, as I've said, the death giving life meaning. Now, if you contemplate death, let's just say you contemplate death, one day you're going to die. It's as simple as that. One day we are all going to die, and that can either motivate you, or it can make you just like be a deer in the headlights and just stop, stop still and not move on. Now, the contemplating death thing, I get it, and for me it would be a motivation to me, because one day I'm going to die. What kind of legacy do I want to leave behind when I pass? That's the way I'm thinking about it. That's the motivation I have, is what do I want to leave behind? What memories do I want to leave behind? And what legacy do I want to leave behind when I pass? And most people aren't thinking that way. They're just thinking death is the end, and that's the end of it. Now, we don't know. This discussion came about because one day at work I was having a discussion with some of my colleagues, and I said, if you could know the exact moment and circumstances of your death, would you want to know? And most people said, no, I wouldn't. And I said, well, why wouldn't you? Because, if you think about it, if you knew that you were going to die when you were 90 years old in your bed and you're all, you weren't broken and bloodied and all that kind of thing, then you could go through your whole life knowing that you're going to die when you're 90 anyway, so you could live your life without fear. But we don't know that. We don't know when we're going to die. We don't know how we're going to die. We don't know the circumstances, nothing. So people generally tend to go through their lives full of fear. One day I might die. You don't have to be fearful of it, but the people that are most fearful of death are who? Now, I've spoken about religion before, and I mean, I recognise that people have a bad feeling about religion because of what organised religion has been involved in with paedophilia and all that kind of thing. And that has a spillover effect that people don't want to have a belief system in a God or a universal consciousness or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really matter, whatever word you're putting on it. People don't want to have that belief system because of the negative connotation that's associated with religion. I get it, I really do. But we've also spoken about, on this channel, the fact that that things don't just pop into existence, like the universe just popped into existence one day from nowhere, from nothing. It just happened to happen. It's just a lucky circumstance, mathematically perfect, by the way. Mathematically perfect, almost like it was created. Right? Now, the people that are most fearful about death, and that's the end of your life, and that's the end, it's it, once you die, are the people that have no belief. They have no belief in a God or a universal consciousness or a whatever you want to call it, creator, grand architect, whatever you want to call it. But the people who have all the fear about dying have no belief system. So they're fearful because they think, well, this is it. Once I die, that's it, I die. Now, I know people that have been through when they thought they were going to die. Let's put it that way. I know someone very, very personally, very, very close, who had cancer, thought they were going to die, and started going down the spiritual route to find out, to understand, whether there was life after death and all that kind of thing. There's plenty of books about if that fear is there for you. I can't think of the name of the book, the one I've got at home. You never die, or something like that is the name of the book. There is no death. There is no death. Something like that, anyway. And it's about that particular book is about people who've had near-death experiences, who've passed and come back, and the feelings that they had and the experiences they had, come back and tell those experiences. So that, to just write off and say that there's nothing after life, and once you die, that there's nothing there. I mean, it is pretty preposterous. But like I say, who am I to? If you want to believe that you die and you die, then okay, then don't be fearful about it. Then just get on with it. But this is the thing. I mean, the fact that we can't know the moment of our death, that we can't know the circumstances of our death, it is, and you don't know when, that should motivate you to get on with your life, because you can go through your life. People put their life off so much, like, oh, I'll begin my life when the government allows me to. Like, what? Or my life will begin when I win £1 million in the lottery, or my life will begin when I go on holiday. It's, you know what I mean? People put their life off so much. They put off their life. Oh, one day in the future, when I retire, I'll go on that holiday, or when I do this, or when I do that, or when I get married, or whatever. They put their life up so much. Now, before my granddad passed, this is some years ago he passed, but before he passed, he said to me, boy, when you get old, you don't sit around and regret the things that you did. You regret the things that you didn't do. So you regret the girl that you didn't ask on a date, or you regret the trip that you didn't take, or the job opportunity that you just let go, or whatever it was. You regret those things that you never did. So, I've gone through my life trying to make decisions about, if I was to pass tomorrow, would my life be complete? There's lots of things I still want to do. There is. I've worked a lot of my life. So, obviously the time that I've spent working has been a time that I haven't been able to do other things. But I've traveled the world. I've got 3 beautiful children. I've got 4 beautiful grandchildren. I've done a lot in my life, but there's still lots more to do. But if I was to pass tomorrow, no one could say that I haven't lived my life. But a lot of people, because they don't live a life because they live in fear or whatever, when they do pass, people are, oh my God, his life was so short, and we've all known people that die too young. Of course, I've had friends that died too young from an overdose. One died from a car accident. I mean, you name it. I've had friends who've died lots of different ways. But the way I try and think about it is I try and celebrate their life. Death is tragic for the people left behind. It is. It's horrible. It is. It's not nice, and you don't want to have to deal with all the things that you have to deal with, and pain and the anguish and all those kind of things, and the heartache, and obviously all the arrangements you have to make. But I think we should all take some time to ponder and consider our own death, because one day it's going to come, and it will usually come from somewhere you'd never expect. It'll be lightning strike, or a shark attack, or whatever. Something so far out of left field that you'll never see it coming. That's how it works generally. People don't know how they're going to die, but it's usually something you never see coming. And that's it scares a lot of people, and that's understandable. But we have to get past our fear of it. It's like everything. Winston Churchill back in World War II said we have nothing to fear but fear itself. Our fear incapacitates us. And over the last year and a half, we've seen how much fear incapacitates people. When people are fearful, they make really stupid, shitty decisions. Rather than making decisions like, I'll tell you this quick story. I was in a supermarket last year. Now, I've also said I've never worn a mask. I never will. I don't get tested or any of that kind of nonsense. I'm not getting the sticky in my arm. So last year I was in a supermarket. There was a morbidly obese man. I mean, he was huge, massive, morbidly obese. And I was in the supermarket. He was on a mobility scooter with his trolley in front of him. And his trolley was full of... Well, before we get to that, he said to me, "Where's your mask? You're going to kill me," right? So I looked at his trolley. He had in his trolley at least 6 bottles of booze. And I'm talking, spirits, proper spirits. So scotch, vodka, gin, a few other spirits, beer, bottles of beer as well, mixers. And he also had a few packets of cigarettes. And the food in there was all microwave shit food. It was salty, sugary rubbish. Just garbage. There wasn't a piece of fresh fruit in his trolley. Okay? Now this is a guy who's wearing a mask, a visor, safety goggles, and gloves. Right? Morbidly obese. And he's telling me I'm going to kill him. So I said to him, "Listen, buddy, I'll take that seriously when you get out of that chair and go for a run and get off your fat ass and go for a run. You're going to blame me for your health problems? Honestly. It is... What this should teach us over the last year and a half is some personal responsibility. Now, I'm tired of being told that I'm responsible for everybody else's health. and I'm sure you are too. You know, we all have to get the jab to save everybody else. You know, the jab that doesn't work, you can still, you know, pass it on. You can still get it. You know, but yeah, mine only works if you get yours too. But this people making really shitty decisions over the last year and a half because they're fearful. And they're fearful for their lives, their lives of their families and their children and, you know, their grandparents and, you know, all the people that surround them. And, you know, people are being manipulated through their fear to make shitty decisions, you know. So the reason I wanted to do this talk today is, you know, look, we don't know how we're going to die. We don't. None of us do. We don't know where it's going to come from. It could be the flu. It could be pneumonia. It could be a car accident. You could fall out of the sky in a plane crash. You just don't know. You don't know where it's going to come from. And we don't know. We'll never know the moment of our death. But what we do know is that we're alive now. And that's all we can control. So with the time that you have on this reality, with this earth, whatever you want to call it, do you want to live in fear? Or do you want to live your life? You want to live your life and do everything that you want to do and have those experiences and leave a legacy behind and live that life without fear, knowing that one day you will pass. But in the meantime, I'm going to make sure that my life is everything I want it to be. You know? Yeah, why can't we use that fear to motivate us? You know? It's you know, I've spoken before about me doing public speaking when I did public speaking when I was at school, and it was a terrible experience. Really was. It was horrible. But I used that experience, that fear of fucking up again, and just looking ridiculous when I did that. I used that to make sure that I'm motivated and I'm prepared for whenever I'm going to do something like that again. Now, what we have to do now is understand that you know, we have to make peace. We have to make peace with one day that we're not going to be here anymore, or our loved ones and our friends and our family and all that kind of stuff, and make decisions from that's going to make your life, you know, worthwhile, make it better. You know, like I can tell you all day, you know, it's you know, how is your life going to be better? Who's having the most of the problems? People who are morbidly obese, people who've got serious health concerns. So serious health concerns. And what can you do to get past that? Make some better decisions. You know, make some better decisions. So you can make really poor decisions. Like one day I'm going to die. Do you want to bring that earlier? Do you want to make it earlier? Do you want to make it later? If you want to make it later, do positive things that you can do for your body that's going to make your body last longer. You know, get out into the world. Get some fresh air, do some exercise, get some vitamins, some fresh food, some, you know, fresh fruits and vegetables. You know, little things that you can do so that your body is going to last longer. You know, and you don't have to have so much fear of death, because then, you know, if you do positive things and look after yourself as much as you possibly can, of course it doesn't always work out the way that you want it to, but we have to get past the fear of everything. Yeah, at the moment we're living in fear of everything. Or it's the death, or, you know, it's the Rona, or it's the, you know, it's another whatever it is. You know, we're constantly living in this fear, and we're being manipulated because we're fearful of it. You know, who's not fearful of it? You know, we have I know that woman Jen Psaki in the White House, White House press secretary. She was asked point blank. You know, they're obviously trying to mandate these shots around the country, in America, around the world actually. She was asked point blank, the president's talking about mandating this thing. Is everyone at is the White House have to have it? No, they don't have to have it, but, you know, they're trying to make sure that you do. So the people at the CDC, they haven't all had it. NIH, National Institute of Health, they haven't all had it either. You know, we've got all these massive organisations that are telling us what to do. WHO, not everyone there has had it. So why do we all have to have it? But yeah, it's this fear of death that is incapacitating a lot of people and making them turn on each other, because it is now that we have a situation where we're told that if you don't do this, we could all die. what's the reality? I mean, reality of the situation, you've probably got more chance of being struck by lightning than you do of dying of the Rona. But yeah, that's just statistical data nonsense. You don't want to know about that, of course. But yes, so the main message that I want to give here is, you know, we have to lose our fear of the thing that's incapacitating us, and that right now is death. And you know, there is a plan for you. You know, whether you realize it, whether you believe in God or creative consciousness or whatever you want to call it, you are part of this reality. You know, and like the Keymaker says in my favorite movie, The Matrix, as I talk about all the time, the Keymaker says we're all here to do what we're all here to do. You have a purpose. You are here for a reason, as we all are. We're all here for a reason. And you know, when your time is done here, there's nothing you can do. When your time is up, your time is up. And you know, if you think, well, no, I'm not ready, that's like saying God made a mistake. There is no mistakes, and it is hard when you have those around us that are passing. But you know, there's a purpose to everything, and we might not know it. And it's, you know, we have to recognise that there's no accidents. There's no accidents. There's no what's the word I'm looking for? There's no accidents in this world. There's no accidents in this world. You're not. I'm not. There are no accidents in this world. And the sooner you recognise that, then you lose your fear of all the things that could happen. You know, like I'm not going swimming in the ocean just in case I get eaten by a shark. I mean, what? What? You know, I'm not gonna spend my life living in fear and not doing the things that I want to do purely because I'm worried about, you know, the fear of death or whatever it is. I don't want you to live that way either, which is the reason I'm doing this video. So don't live in fear. One day, you know, death is going to come for you, but that day is not today. So while you still can, make the most of your life. Leave a legacy behind of how you want to live and the person you want to be. That's where you should be focusing your energy, not on all the other nonsense, the trivial bullshit that we're constantly told we should worry about. That's the stuff you don't need to worry about. The real things you need to worry about, you know, making sure you get enough food in your belly, you know, putting enough sun on your face, enough exercise. That's all you need to worry about. Don't worry about the trivial bullshit that we're told to worry about on a daily basis. But all that said, we can influence the world, and we can change it with the way that we do things, the way that we interact with each other, what we do when we go out into the world. So, you know, with the times that we're living in right now, you know, what we're doing, you know, how we're interacting with each other is vitally important. So get out there and do some good in the world. Seriously, do some good. Do good and be good. You know, do as good as you possibly can for others and for yourself. You've got to look after yourself, because if you're not looking after yourself, then you can't help other people. It's as simple as that. Now, I have been, over the course of the last couple of weeks, I've been talking with some other channels. I will be doing some interviews over the course of the next few weeks. I will, of course, let you know when that happens and who they are with. I will probably not post them to YouTube because they're going to be about subjects that I can't talk about on here. So they'll be on their BitChute channel. But when that happens, I will let you know. But there are things coming up, and there are things that are happening in the background. I haven't been idle. I've been doing nothing. I've been doing some other things, and over the course of the next week or so, I will be doing a video about what's coming up in the future, what I'm up to, what I'm planning, and also things. If people want to be involved in things, I've got things planned for different places in the world. So if people want to be involved in things, I'll be letting you know about that in that video as well. So future plans and what I have planned for the going forward. So all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I mean, look at the world. The world is a wonderful place. Don't lock yourself away from it. Don't lock yourself away from people. Get out into the world. Go and get some exercise. Enjoy it. Because one day, you won't be able to. You won't be here anymore. All right. Well, look after yourself. I love you lots. Thank you so much for being here, as always. And I shall look forward to seeing you real soon. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Ciao for now.